Welcome back to another Fitness Made Simple Explainer. Today, we're diving into a concept that is, no joke, the secret sauce to getting stronger and fitter. It's called progressive overload, and it's a total game changer.
So let's get right into it. Progressive overload is basically the key that unlocks all your future fitness gains. It doesn't matter if you're lifting, running, or just doing push-ups at home, this principle is your secret weapon for continuous improvement.
You know the feeling, right? You're showing up, you're doing the work, but nothing's changing. You've hit that dreaded plateau. Well, what we're talking about today is the #1 way to completely smash through that wall and start seeing results again.
So here's what we've got on tap. We're going to start with the principle itself, then get into why it works so well. After that, we'll cover 5 different ways you can use it, some really critical mistakes to avoid, and then we'll wrap up with a sample action plan you can use.
Okay, first things first. What exactly is this so-called plateau-busting principle? I know it sounds a little technical, but the idea couldn't be simpler. All it means is that you have to gradually, little by little, make your workouts harder. You're giving your body a reason to adapt by pushing it just slightly past what it's used to. And that adaptation, that's you getting stronger.
So, challenging our bodies is the goal. But what's really going on here? Why is this steady, smart push so incredibly effective? Let's take a look at the actual benefits.
Think of it like a domino effect. First, you build real, functional strength. Suddenly, carrying the groceries in one trip is no problem. That new strength then boosts your endurance, making your heart and lungs way more efficient. All this work supports muscle growth, keeping you toned and strong. But the real magic bullet is that it prevents plateaus. Your body is smart. If you're not challenging it, it has no reason to change. Progressive overload keeps that adaptation engine humming along. All right, we get what it is and why it's so important, but how do you actually do it? Let's break down 5 super practical ways you can put this to work. And this is what's so cool about it. You've got options. The most obvious one is just adding a little more weight, but that's just one tool. You could also just aim for a couple more reps or add an extra set. Or you could make the exercise itself harder, like graduating from knee push-ups to full ones. You could even crank up the intensity by cutting your rest time. And hey, if you're recovering well, you might add another workout day. The key here, and this is crucial, is to pick one of these things at a time and focus on that. Now, this is important. Pushing yourself isn't just about going harder, it's about going smarter. And that means you've got to know how to make progress safely so you can stay in it for the long haul.
Seriously, just winging it and hoping for the best is not the move here. Having a smart, strategic plan is what separates being aggressive in the gym from being truly effective. So let's make sure we're avoiding these common traps. First, listen to your body. Pain is a signal, not something to push through. Second, remember that rest days are when the magic happens. That's when you actually get stronger, so don't skip them. Third, don't rush it. Trying to add more weight and more reps all at once is just a recipe for burnout. And last, but honestly, this is the most important, never ever sacrifice your form just to lift heavier. Good form is what keeps you safe.
Okay, enough theory. Let's make this real. Here is a super simple example of what progressive overload could look like over 8 weeks for just one exercise. Check this out. For the first 2 weeks, you're just setting your baseline. You find a weight that's tough but doable for 3 sets of 10. Then, for the next 2 weeks, you make one tiny change. Either add a little weight or tack on a couple more reps. See? Just one thing. Then, in weeks 5 and 6, you change it up again. Maybe add a 4th set or start cutting your rest time down. And finally, for the last 2 weeks, you push the challenge again, maybe with more weight or a harder version of the exercise. That right there is what smart, sustainable progress looks like.
And that really says it all, doesn't it? This isn't about making giant leaps, it's about those small, consistent steps forward. That steady progress is what's going to keep you safe, keep you motivated, and get you the results you're looking for.
And all this great info comes from a fantastic guide put together by the team over at Let's Roar. They really know their stuff when it comes to building strength the right way. Thank you for watching and see you soon for the next one.